We're almost live, friends. How are you tonight? Waiting for the system to let me know that we are live. And we are live. Welcome back to another live session today. Friends, we're going to talk about an intervention that has been shown to remedy, to be a cure for, to ameliorate over 26 common chronic health conditions. And I want to break this down to you because this intervention, this treatment is often overlooked. It's often not talked about. It's often sort of brushed off as, well, when or if you have the time to do this thing that we're going to take a deep dive into today, then maybe do it. But first, take these prescriptions. First, wear your face mask. You get the whole thing. But we're going to talk today about exercise. This is an intervention, a lifestyle intervention that is so powerful. You see, when you exercise, not only do you impact your skeletal muscle that releases extracellular vesicles that go throughout the body and communicate with various tissues, including your fat tissue, your liver, your brain, and change therein gene expression. When you exercise, you increase neuroprotective peptides known as brain-derived neurotrophic factors and other neurotransmitters that make you feel better, which is why exercise has been shown to improve symptoms of depression, anxiety, even prevent the onset of cognitive decline, which is one of the major leading causes of mortality here in the US. Even this intervention, exercise, has been shown to prevent cancer, has been shown to prevent loss of bone. Osteopenia, osteoporosis are big factors leading to joint pain, leading to increased risk and prevalence of falling. Exercise has been shown to lower blood lipids and lower blood glucose and improve musculoskeletal related conditions and metabolic disorders, cardiometabolic disorders. So we are going to talk about this today, my friends, and explore this paper, this high impact paper that has been cited over 2,600 times by other academics and so forth in the scientific community here. The title of the paper, as you can see on the screen here, is Exercise as Medicine. This is evidence for prescribing exercise as a therapy for 26 chronic health conditions, my friends. Now, here are all the different health conditions that we're going to talk about today. As I mentioned, we have anxiety, we have depression, we have stress, we have schizophrenia, we have dementia, we have Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, we have obesity, hyperlipidemia, metabolic syndrome, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, type 1 and type 2 diabetes. We're also going to talk about high blood pressure, coronary artery disease, heart failure. We have clotting related issues. We have chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, cystic fibrosis, and last but not least, we have cancer here. We have also musculoskeletal issues, back pain, rheumatic disease, joint disease. So, my friends, why are we not hearing more about exercise? This is an intervention. I'll tell you, friends, I do consults with clients, right? I'm not taking on any new clients, but when I talk with clients and I talk to them about their diet, they're investing a lot of money in a health coach, in foods, the food delivery, cooks and things like that. And then I say, okay, well, what are you doing for exercise? And it's usually pretty quiet. Okay. It's like, well, how come you're investing so much money in Insight Tracker, in laboratory analysis, in dietary supplements, NAD supplements? We're talking about, intravenous nutrition. Why are you doing all these things, but you're not exercising? And they say, I don't know how. I didn't know it was that important. No one's really emphasized the importance of this. So that's why we're here today, friends. I want to thank you for being here with High Intensity Health Live. These live sessions are always fun. We're going to talk about some structured content and then get to your live questions. I see a lot of you here right now. Thank you for being here live. Thank you for hitting that like button. If you're here live, I would love to know where you're from. Part of this presentation is from a presentation I just gave to about 3,500 people in Bogota, Colombia. So for those of you that are here internationally, thank you as always for being here. And also for those of you that are here, of course, domestically in the US, I want to thank you for being here because we have a seminar series coming up this fall about exercise as muscle, exercise is medicine, and muscle is an organ. So I'll share with you a little bit more about that. So let's get into it. But first, friends, I do want to let you know that these live sessions are brought to you by our friends over at Good Idea. Good Idea is an amazing drink. It's a carbonated branched chain amino acid that is ready to drink. This is a ready to drink branched chain amino acid drink that can be utilized after your exercise sessions or after a meal to help support metabolic health. Not only does the Good Idea have branched chain amino acids, but it also has nutrients that help support metabolic health, like chromium. These are minerals that are essential to supporting healthy glucose metabolism. So if you click the link below, you can use the code HIH to save over at goodidea.us. The link is right below. Check it out. If you want to go alcohol-free like myself, you go to a barbecue, Labor Day is coming up and you're like, what am I going to drink? I don't want to drink a bunch of like Bud Light. You can bring Good Idea and people won't even know. They'll think you're drinking a seltzer that has alcohol. Little do they know that you are supporting muscle protein synthesis. You're supporting metabolic health with the leucine, isoleucine, valine, and chromium picolinate in the Good Idea drink. They taste phenomenal and they're alcohol-free and your friends will love them when you bring them to a party. Okay, so let's get into the weeds on this. I mean, I get excited about this because I think a lot of people, I know, this study shows that 86% of people have an exercise deficiency. 86%. Then are we surprised then from that new analysis of the NHANES data here in the US that 93% of people have cardiometabolic health challenges? Insulin resistance, hyperlipidemia, increased belly fat. We know so many people have gained weight as a result of the pandemic interventions that were intended ostensibly to keep people safe, okay? So we have a lot of work to do, my friends, with regards to exercise, and we're gonna talk more about that. So again, we have folks here from, we have a Colombian living in Clearwater, Florida. That's Olga. Olga, amazing, thank you for being here. Yukon, Oklahoma. We have folks from San Diego here. We have Claire here from South Central Kansas. Amazing. We have someone from Bellingham, Washington, Philly, Oregon. Is there a link to the study? You know what I will post that very, very soon in the description. Was just preparing for this. We have Steve King here from Coopville, Washington. Steve, what's going on? Okay. I like this. Vitalis says, screw peer pressure. Bam. Say it how it is. I love that. We got Sam Rudy Studios in the house. We got Spokane. We got Southern Oregon. We got all kinds of people here as friends. So, and Tawny says she quit alcohol completely 3 years ago, which is just fantastic. We have Halifax, Canada, Oregon. So many people. All right. So, it's awesome that we can do this virtually. But I'm telling you, friends, we have in-person events coming. So make sure you're on the email list over at highintensityhealth.com because it's way better to meet in person, talk about these issues and things like that. So let's get into the study and talk about this high impact paper that was cited 2,600 different times, okay? This is a paper that you should share with your doctor, that you should share with your friends and family who have basically, the Pfizer gang tattoo on their arm, right? You should share that. Hey, but look, I know you're excited about Pfizer, but did you know about, Gold Gym? Did you know about push-ups? Well, encourage them to get as excited. Okay, here we go. In the medical world, it is traditional to prescribe the evidence-based treatment known to be the most effective at entailing the fewest side effects or risks, okay? The evidence suggests that in selected cases, exercise therapy is just as effective as medical treatment and in special situations, more effective or adds to its effect, okay? The accumulated knowledge is now so extensive so it is time that we implement this. Although there's still need to define the most optimal type and dose of exercise. To explore if high-intensity interval training or as well as one-legged training, unilateral training, and so forth, or new exercise modalities will have place for specific diagnoses, but it is time that the health systems create the necessary infrastructure to ensure that supervised exercise can be prescribed as medicine. Okay. Moreover, it is important that society in general support a physically active lifestyle. People do not move when you tell them to. People move when the context compels them to do so. So we need to create less friction between you and movement. So think about, this is your homework. What is preventing you from moving your body on a regular basis? What is preventing you from learning how to embark on regular exercise? How come you're not squatting? How come you're not doing pull-ups? How come you are not doing push-ups? How come you're not doing deadlifts? Why? What is it? Is it knowledge? Is it that you're scared to go to the gym? I want to know in the comments here. How come if you have not done push-ups, pull-ups, or deadlifts or squats in the last week, I want to know why. Because I'm trying to create less friction. I'm trying to create content, and our team is trying to create content to help you do just that. We want people to be more metabolically healthy. We don't want people to have dementia, anxiety, rheumatic diseases, joint pain, cystic fibrosis, type 1 and type 2 diabetes. We don't want people to have these conditions because that means they are essentially roped in to the mainstream medical system. When you go to the doctor, when you're sick in the hospital, what do they feed you? They feed you orange juice, bread, chips, donuts. I mean, have you ever tried to actually find healthy food at the hospital? It's damn near impossible. I remember a few years ago, well, about 10 years ago now, when Inez was born in the hospital. Like, none of us ate any of the hospital food because a Whole Foods was across the street. I had to go like 3 times a day to Whole Foods. Hey, Deanna, what do you want? Hey, we got charged $1,200 for food and we didn't eat a single crumb of the crap that the hospital was trying to feed to us, okay? Because it's so atrocious. So, you do not want to be a cog in the mainstream medical wheel, which is why you should start making exercise part of your lifestyle, all right? Okay, some questions are coming in here, or some comments. Some folks are saying bad habits. The reason why they haven't done pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, and everything like that is because of bad habits. Okay, it just takes a little bit of inertia. Okay, it's like a snowball rolling down the hill. When you start to roll the snowball, it's small. And that small snowball might be 10 push-ups every other day. It might be then 20 push-ups every other day. It might be some wall sits. It might be some dead hangs. It might be taking your kid and doing a military press, pushing them up and down if you're a new mother or a new parent, right? These are small things, but when you start to do those small movements, it adds inertia to the flywheel of healthy lifestyle change. Okay? Because once you start to exercise, you change your identity. You start to eat healthier. There was one study, and I shared in my presentation in Bogota, Colombia, that tracked people for about 15 weeks. And they found that a regular exercise program was linked with less snacking on unhealthy foods because people were going to the gym. They were investing time in their energy, in movement and activity and the sort. And so they didn't want to then snack on a bunch of junk food. Okay, so if you're like, oh my gosh, I would exercise, but I'm overweight or I'm craving these things. Once you start moving, you're less likely and you have a lower propensity to start eating these unhealthy foods. So that's a great question here. So many fantastic comments. Thank you for these comments. I learned so much from you. I go walking and so forth, but discipline to those repetitive exercises. So Sandy Brown is not really into the repetitive exercise. So Sandy, pick the exercises that you like. You know, if you don't like to just do the same stuff, switch it up, right? Switch it up and try to figure out things that you like. That's a great thing. Now, it doesn't have to be structured exercise in a gym. One study found in elderly subjects, when they just did a sort of a circuit at home where they're jumping onto a box, where they're going down and doing some push-ups, and then they went and sort of ran around in a high-speed pace to mimic like interval training, that was sufficient to reverse cognitive decline in people over the age of 65. So we've already talked about a lot. We've talked about how when you start to exercise, you change your identity. You naturally will start to eat better foods. And because you're eating better foods and you identify as someone who exercises, guess what happens? You're also going to create more sleep pressure. So many people say, I would go to bed, but I'm just not tired. I sit in bed, I lie down. I have a friend that recently told me, I lie down and I start thinking about all these things. My mind is going. And I said, well, do you exercise? Well, yeah, it's one of those answers. Okay, well, because you don't have the sleep pressure. When you start to exercise, you're building up adenosine. You're building up and creating that sleep pressure that will help you fall asleep. Now, here's the other thing. If you know you have to get up at 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning, because that's the time when you're going to exercise, you're not likely to binge watch Netflix or mindlessly scroll on Instagram. So there's all these keystone habits. And that's why I think it's not just the act of physically moving your muscles that is so good. It's the ancillary benefits that are associated with the habit of becoming physically active as a person, the identity, the less snacking, the sleep pressure, the less joint pain. One study recently found that individuals who were overweight or obese, when they exercise, even independent of any significant weight loss, their markers of chronic inflammation tend to decrease. We all know that many diseases, ailments, and conditions, from autoimmunity, depression, anxiety, you name it, is linked with higher levels of low-grade background inflammation. So this is another reason why we should exercise. Oh my gosh, Claire says, I've been working on standing without using my hands. This is phenomenal, getting up off the floor without using the hands. Ellen Hunt says, I'm always the first one out on the floor at jam. It helps me get out on the floor, which is fantastic. Second Street Marvel says, I work out at home, have a good set of dumbbells, an Olympic barbell, and curl bar. I need to add a bench and a squat rack. Absolutely. So a great place to look for used equipment is Facebook Marketplace. Oftentimes people are selling stuff, they're moving, they're downsizing, they're upgrading, and so forth. And you can actually create alerts in your area on Facebook Marketplace when people post stuff. Let's say you're like Second Street Marvel. That's the URL of the handle of the person who left that great comment. And you can put in like Rogue or barbell or squat rack so that you're the first one to be notified when someone in your local area is selling one of those pieces of equipment, which is great. There's also often fitness auctions where people are selling gym equipment and so forth. So that's another thing that you can look for. Okay, Tammy Ishis says, I've been getting 5,000 steps a day since May of 2020. Also doing intermittent fasting, 16/8. That's all I got. I need to start training, but keep putting off. So Tammy, you know you better than anyone else. What is it that's why are you putting it off? I mean, really, I have a journal here from Brendan Burchard. This is the high performance planner. When this live is over, I'll put this in the description below. This is a great sort of journal. It has day by day. And I put, you put all your tasks right here. Hey, what are you going to do at 6 a.m.? Why are you doing what you're doing? You put all your meetings and everything like that. And Tammy, that could be something to be helpful for you. So you can just put it right in your calendar and you think about it before you go to bed. Again, the idea, friends, is you want to form a new habit. You have to create less friction, right? Yeah, between you and the habit. Make it easier before you go to bed. If your goal is to walk 2,500 steps before you log in and check your email, why don't you put your running shoes and whatever gear you need right by the door so that when you get up, you're making your coffee, making your tea, kind of drinking some water, doing your stuff shortly after you wake up. You're like, oh, you see your shoes and your clothes. So it's a trigger. And it helps you create this newfound habit. Getting pets is another easy thing that you can do in terms of trying to exercise on a regular basis. Okay. Joseph Jones writes, I'm up to training 6 days per week, which is fantastic. That's awesome. Kyla says, I'm not seeing any results. It's hard to keep going with no visible results. Phenomenal comment. I'm going to address it. I'm praying my doctor knows what he's talking about when he gives me my lab results. Shaking my head, she writes. Okay, so this is oh man, my thumbnail's all screwed up. Uh-oh. Media goes nuts over monkeypox. Oh my gosh, how did that happen? Okay, so I need to change the thumbnail. That's not good. But anyway, so Kyla and anyone who is exercising but not seeing the results that they would like to see, why is this? What could this be related to? Well, Kyla, I actually shared this information with some other people. Make sure that you're eating sufficient protein. People that are new to exercise actually need to increase their protein content even more than people who have been exercising for a long period of time because you're placing newfound demands on your body. causing increased muscle protein synthesis, protein turnover. There's a lot of churn in your body, especially when you're exercising, which is why exercise is arguably a better way to induce the process that everyone is trying to increase, known as autophagy. Moving your muscles is a great way to increase autophagy, but you should probably aim for, Kyla, about 1.26 to about 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Okay, so this is just simple math here. Remember, there's 2.2 kilos per pound. So you can do simple math around your phone to figure out how much protein you need. But increase your protein. Also, you might want to start supporting your body's DHEA levels. Okay, we've talked about DHEA like 100,000 times on this platform. Excuse me. DHEA is a hormone that's made by your adrenal glands, and in women, it's a huge driver in terms of making testosterone and other hormones that would help you see the visible progress of your exercise sessions. So take some DHEA. Start out at like 5 milligrams. You could try that in the evening time. Okay. Tawny says, my yellow lab gets me out walking in the morning, which is fantastic. So dogs are a great way. It's funny. We won't exercise for ourselves, but we will walk our dog. Okay. So do it for other people. This is another thing that Tony Robbins has talked all about. Link the habit that you want to start implementing with something greater than yourself. Tawny mentioned her dog. You could link the habit of exercise with being more physically fit to pick up your grandchildren. You could link the habit of exercise, and associate that with growing your business, right? So link the habit that you want to start implementing with something greater than yourself. Because you might be thinking, well, it's selfish of me to exercise because I have to take my kids to gym class or, soccer practice or whatever the fill in the blank thing that you need to do. But if you link exercise with becoming a better parent, that's motivating for a mother or a father, because we all want to be around to see our kids. We want to be around to help our kids get off to college or to make sufficient income to help support them with their extracurricular activities and sports and so forth. Well, so link that with something larger than yourself. Yeah, Claire. So the protein is sufficient, and it's surprising when you're new to exercise, when you're new to fitness, your protein demands are actually even higher than people who've been doing it a long time, because you're actually, this process is new. I've been lifting weights for like 25 years almost. So yeah, I eat about a gram and a half per kilo, but some days it's even less, and I still am able to maintain that amount, even though that amount of activity, even though I've been doing this for so long, because the body is sort of adapted. So when you're new to this, you're going to need even more. You could also supplement with branched chain amino acids. Whey protein is good. And also our friends over at Good Idea, that is linked below, is another option there for you. Okay. Kyla says, thank you for that, Mike. I'll look into DHEA now. Yeah, Kyla, send an email, help@myoscience.com. I'll send you links to other videos about that so you can check it out. Okay. Pluto says, do energy drinks increase DHEA? They're not. Energy drinks will probably deplete. So energy drinks are enriched in caffeine and caffeine-like compounds. And those are going to not necessarily support anabolic processes in the body. Although, energy drinks can be utilized to help get a PR, personal record. If you're doing a lot of intense exercise, you're trying to break through a plateau. I have no problem with caffeine, right? Strategically using it. But you do want to make sure that you're taking it about 10 to 12 hours away from your desired bedtime, or else you're going to interfere with sleep onset and may cause some sleep latency issues. Joseph Jones says, I eat about 50 to 80 grams of protein twice a day, 3 to 4 hours apart. Okay. Hey, Joseph, that sounds like a good way to go about it. Let us know if you're getting progress from that. Okay, Colin says, I'm 52 years old and focus on the strength training 4 days a week and always include Tabata and step workouts for cardiovascular to combat sarcopenia. You told me about it. Thanks, Mike. Okay, so Colin, that's awesome. I really think the combination of resistance training is sort of the foundation, sprinkled in with some cardio, high intensity. That's amazing. Okay, there's a question here from Joe about the peptide Mk677. All right, so yeah, there's a lot of peptides that have emerged over the last several years, and to be honest, this is not a thing that I'm super well versed in. However, is there a role for peptides? There certainly is, especially as you age, especially if you have joint pain, recovery issues, or are overcoming an injury. But I wouldn't totally depend upon these peptides. So that's just something I do worry a little bit about the suppression of hormones, whether it's growth hormone, whether it's testosterone associated with some of these peptides that are intended to increase, anabolic synthesis and hormones in the body and things of the sort. So, I have my concerns there, but better life through chemistry. Look, if you have an injury and you can get access to a high quality peptide that might increase the recovery time, I'm all about it. Okay, any idea when the new electrolyte will be delivered? I'm almost out. Yes, so the lemon lime flavor from Bioscience will be packaging on the 6th of September, and it will be shipping shortly after that. However, if you're almost out, and this was who asked that? This is Alpha BERPT. We can honor that same discount and get you the orange flavor that's available now. So if you're like, I'm almost out, I just want to get going, you can apply that BOGO discount. We'll just ship you what's available now. Just send an email to help@myoscience.com. Great question, and thank you for being part of that pre-sale. Okay. What else do we have? Catherine says, I'm raising my granddaughter, so I work out to be strong and healthy for her and to live longer. Brilliant. This ties into that sort of habit forming strategy that I mentioned that Tony Robbins has talked about since forever, and that is link the activity that you desire to improve upon with something greater than yourself. Catherine just says, hey, look, I'm working out so I can live longer for my grandchild, which is fantastic because Catherine is raising her grandchild, which is really amazing that you're doing that. Thank you, Catherine. Okay. Joseph says, yeah, I put on 7 pounds of muscle this year and lost 3 pounds around the waist. Phenomenal. Joseph, amazing. I want to see you all. Thank you and reward Joseph. Give him a little pat in the back here in the comments. That's amazing, Joseph. 3 inches in the waist is phenomenal. I really love that. John, thanks for being here from Canada. Okay. Do you guys get back into exercise after having COVID? Lungs aren't working fully. What workout should I do to get my lungs working fully again? Yeah, I mean, you might be able to tell I'm actually recovering from COVID myself. My first symptom was last Tuesday. Totally cool, but a little congested right here. So what did I do? I've been doing weightlifting. Okay. I have noticed this time around getting COVID, last time was December 2020 for me. So this did impact my lungs more so than prior, assuming that this isn't influenza. But so what I've been doing is weightlifting, doing a lot of like HIIT training right now. A lot of cardio would just be I feel strained on the lungs. Of course, I'm walking and doing, my recreational activity and things like that, but not doing explosive PRs on the rower, the ski erg, or the assault bike. It's more like, okay, I'm taking the dogs for a walk, walking up hills and things like that. And weightlifting and strength is coming back, which is good. So we do want to focus on resistance training because I don't know that a lot of explosive high intensity interval stuff when you're recovering from COVID is ideal. Okay, Mr. Alux says, is gluten related to Hashimoto's? Yeah, so individuals that have autoimmunity should, generally speaking, try to minimize corn, soy, wheat, and dairy. Okay, corn, soy, wheat, and dairy. Why is that? Well, if you look at sort of the sensitivities to foods, a lot of people, you could also include eggplants and nightshades and things like that in there. But corn, soy, wheat, and dairy, especially pasteurized dairy, is going to have some challenges, from a digestive standpoint, from a gut health standpoint, maybe even impacting gut permeability and all that. And so anyone that has autoimmunity wants to minimize the burden on the immune system, or I'm oversimplifying, but essentially you don't want to give your immune system another reason to be overreactive. And so if you can get off corn, wheat, soy, dairy, that's going to be great for Graves, for Hashimoto'S, for multiple sclerosis, and other autoimmunity. Okay. Hey, thank you for that. Aleph says, I love the Electrolyte 6. We quite like them as well. We're excited about the new flavors coming and the existing flavor, but thank you for that. Okay. Chris is signing up for a strength or exercise class that can help. Gyms and senior centers all have them. Bingo. Sign up for a class. Another easy way to create a new habit is to befriend people who are already doing that thing that you want to do, right? So you have that sort of social connection link there, and there's some accountability. It's an accountability partner. Get a friend to go to the gym with you. Say, hey, look, I know you don't exercise, but come on in with me. I've had several friends do that for others, and the results that they've experienced has been phenomenal. So, what is SLE? So this is going to be, this is lupus, so systemic lupus. So this is an autoimmune disease that is quite common and problematic. Okay, get some bodybuilders on your podcast. Yeah, we've done podcasts with bodybuilders in the past, and I might as well just repost some of those episodes. So yeah. I worked out for my wife who struggles with lupus. Yes, good for you. That is amazing. Okay. What else do we have going on, friends? So many different things that we can do with regards to exercise. The point here is, friends, I encourage you to do some form of resistance training. This can be body weight if that's all you have access to, some sort of pushing and pulling, pull-ups, push-ups, air squats, deadlifts, hip hinges, all of the sort. Last week, I shared with you everything that's in my home gym with a glute focus, lower body focus, and try to do that 3 to 4 days per week. And then walk, like others have commented here, between 5 and 10,000 steps per day. This is the magic sauce. And as we've talked about, now is the time to make exercise, bring it to the front of everyone's mind. Let people realize, from severe COVID-19 to improving, metabolic health, to improving fat loss, to improving cognition and delaying the onset of cognitive decline, exercise is what we should be focusing on. And especially strength focus exercise, because you lose strength faster than you lose muscle as you age. So it's very important that we focus on that. Best for hypertension, resistance training, and some cardio. Okay, some interval training. Tawny says, got a backpack. Oh, go backpacking. The Pacific Crest Trail here in Washington is so amazing. Just completed 2 Snoqualmie to Canada. Tawny, that is so fantastic. My daughter and I have been on various parts of the PCT, Pacific Crest Trail, over the past several weeks. And perhaps we cross paths at some point. Wouldn't that have been quite interesting? Get a backpack. Hiking is a great way to improve your aerobic capacity. Okay. Catherine Mayer says, do electrolytes get shipped to New Zealand? Absolutely, Catherine. We ship to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and parts of Europe every single day. So, happy to send those out to you. Dahlia says, I'm on a complete gluten-free diet because I have ulcerative colitis. Stopped all medication 5 years ago. Oh my gosh, I love seeing and reading these comments. That is so amazing. Hats off to you. That is so fantastic. Okay, Karina says, been exercising for 23 years, 6 to 7 days a week. It's just part of my life that I don't know life without exercise, she says. Natural life hack to feel like you're one step ahead of everyone else. Karina, that is so amazing. That is so fantastic. Thank you for sharing that comment, and keep up the fantastic work. Pluto says, if I eat anything processed or dairy, I am in so much pain. Join the club. Although I do okay with some raw unpasteurized A2 dairy. So that's okay. Okay, can you please post some resistance exercises again? Heidi, yes, I would do that. Of course, Heidi. But if you just go back to our playlist, 4 videos ago, broke down exactly like 14 or 15 different resistance training exercises that are specific to the lower body. Hopefully you can get a lot of tips out of that video. Oh my gosh, Audrey's comment is so great. Audrey says, I've been calling my workouts immune building routines, and people around me are more interested to know what I'm doing. Oh my gosh, look at that, Audrey. Way to capture the interest of what people are trying to improve upon right now, and that is immune health from various pathogens and so forth. And we know that, at least in North America, we're entering into winter, cold and flu season. Right? It's not just COVID. It's all sorts of respiratory pathogens come around. So we know that regular exercisers suffer from less sick days. It slashes the number of sick days in half. This was one study that found that when they randomized people to 2 different groups, exercise versus no exercise, the people who regularly exercise had a 48% reduction in sick days at work. You can take that to the bank. That study is quite interesting. Okay. Joseph says, yeah, butter and olive oil only for me. They're the only other milk product that I eat outside of yogurt. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have? Okay. Question here from Jason. Do statin medications stop the growth of your muscles? And is working out while taking a statin meaningless to your muscle growth? Jason, I don't think that statins completely block muscle growth or muscle protein synthesis, but I know, they do decrease cholesterol. We know cholesterol is a precursor to testosterone and other anabolic hormones, so that's part of it. Do they completely block muscle protein synthesis? I'm not sure on that, but I know that a lot of professional athletes will generally not take statins for the reason that you mentioned, is there is some concern about rhabdomyolysis and challenges within the muscle. So, Jason, my suggestion to you would be lower your so-called bad or LDL cholesterol, apolipoprotein naturally with exercise, and then get off the statin. That's what I would say. And obviously, not consume sugar and processed foods and other things that are driving up your lipid levels. Kelly says, I've lost 80 pounds on carnivore, and one thing has not come back. ED. ED. If you were are you referring to erectile dysfunction or endothelial dysfunction or GERD? Did you forget to put the G in there? I'm not sure, Kelly. Let me know in the comments. Okay, Sierra and Fox says, regarding strength levels, where can we find minimum benchmarks for indications of good health for certain ages and sexes? I've heard the grip test, but not sure how it is measured. Yeah, so grip strength is quantified using a specific tool, and there's a lot of online calculators. Sierra, this is a great question. I wonder if Peter Attia and Andrew Huberman and other people are working on this. I'm not so sure. But I think as a minimum, you should be able to squat your body weight at least once, preferably probably about 5 times. You should be able to at least deadlift your body weight, okay? And you should be able to, as a male, press your body weight, bench press, and maybe 75 or 65% of that for women. But I think a great place for this is to just do a VO2 max test to see where you are for your age and your fitness level. Your VO2 max would naturally start to increase as you improve any level of fitness, but that's a good way to start. Okay. Joseph Jones is putting in a lot of great comments here about how to do carries, farmer's carries, squats, 1 and 2 legs, bracing, learning how to brace, and all of that, which is fantastic. So friends, hopefully you can read this paper. Again, the title of the paper is Exercise as Medicine, Evidence for Prescribing Exercise as Therapy in 26 Chronic Health Conditions. So we know that exercise is quite fantastic. It's time to make this message go viral and all of that. So, okay. So Kelly is saying that they have to use Viagra. So Kelly, there's a lot of things to unpack there, and I can't pretend to know every little detail of your situation, but assuming you're referring to erectile dysfunction and sexual dysfunction, exercise is going to improve testosterone. One study found that there's a direct linear correlation between the number of steps people take and their testosterone levels. So start walking more, exercising more. I would imagine the erectile dysfunction or challenges associated with intercourse would be a little bit more amenable to improvements in lower body venous function and cardiovascular health. So walking, squatting, lunges, any movements that improve the fitness and blood flow to the lower extremities are going to help the sexual organs. So that would be something I would focus on. And then I would also increase the intensity and the weight. We know that testosterone levels acutely increase when people squat or deadlift and do compound movements. So an isolation movement is moving one joint at a time. We want to focus on using 2 or more joints at a time. So think about when you squat, you're moving your knees and your hips as well as other joints. When you deadlift, you're moving your knees, other joints, right? When you pull up, you're moving your elbow and your rotator cuff, your shoulder, right? So focus on compound movements. I want to thank Vanderwoman for the super chat. Thank you for donating to our cause. That is so amazing. Really, really appreciate that. Joseph Jones, again, is highlighting many other exercises people can do. Kettlebell cleans, more carries, more squatted squats, and front racked kettlebell carries. All of that is fantastic. Okay. Anyway, friends, again, thank you for that like button. If you're here now, I really appreciate that like button. What I'm going to do is update the show notes page right here and link the study that I mentioned and also some related fitness interviews. One of them with my own personal trainer, Dan Stephenson. So I'll put that in there. But as always, friends, have a great rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, hit your muscles at least 3 to 4 days per week. Do the exercises that you enjoy. Make the private public. Take a selfie. Post it on your social media. Say, this is the new me, right? Because then you can make consistent, congruent decisions. When you're posting pictures of yourself exercising, you're less likely to go then smoke a pack of cigarettes or drink some soda or stay up till midnight watching Netflix. You want to recover. Exercise improves sleep pressure. Exercise improves libido. Exercise improves blood flow. Exercise helps the brain. Let's make exercise medicine. Thanks for sharing the message. Have an awesome day. Thanks for that like button. Thanks for your comments. We'll catch you all later. Bye now.